Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I'm here again with an incredible author, incredible woman that I know. Her name is Tina Hay, and she came up with this incredible book, Napkin Finance, which you can see right here. So Tina and I met at this summit, at a summit called The Summit, and have kept in touch ever since. She is brilliant, and she had a passion then and now, which she brought to fruition, to really help humanity understand finances and make it as simple as possible. And I want her to explain it, but she created a company called Napkin Finance, which she's CEO of, which has thus become a book, which is a New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller. And Tina, thank you for joining us at Amp Music Summit. And you want to explain to everyone too what Napkin Finance is?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. So we simplify money and finance. We make it more digestible, fun, and visual. And the inspiration was my own experiences coming from a liberal arts background and never having taken a finance class. I found that I'm a visual learner. And visual learning is a classic concept. Da Vinci, Mozart, all used images to solve their big problems. And so it's also more memorable and kind of lasts longer when you learn a concept, because the human mind is a machine that is made for visual learning. And so what we do is we take financial topics and we tell stories around them using images, napkins, storyboards, infographics, videos that tell a story around a topic, theme, or general kind of area where people find confusing or complex. So it's called Napkin Finance. And we now have a lot of content that we have on our site, napkinfinance.com. We create content for banks, financial institutions, for nonprofits. But really our goal and our mission is to make finance simple and accessible and fun for most people who don't have access.
Well, I think, I think now is probably one of the most opportune moments for it too, because Tina, I know not only the music industry, but most industries have been hit with layoffs, furloughs, pay cuts. Everyone's been doing it. And I know a lot of people, the last recession was 2008. This feels different. It always feels a little different, but this feels, this flattened everything, flattened the curve and flattened everything in a lot of ways. A lot of businesses as they ground to a halt, and especially in the States, where we just think we're not necessarily trained, like to your point, on finance. What would you tell someone, like even breaking down in the most simple format, how do you even budget now? And what do you think?
Yeah. Of course, first of all, to your point, knowledge is power. So right now, there's no better time because money is a tool. And so it's a great time to become empowered and educated. And there are a lot of resources out there in addition to Napkin Finance, where you can really learn the basics. Most people never learn in school. And so what we see is it can be a vicious cycle or a virtuous cycle. So a virtuous cycle is you get educated and learn about different topics before you have to make decisions, or just in time. And so with budgeting, which is really budgeting, and we would say compound interest, are probably the two of the most important aspects around money and finance for everyone to grasp. The key is to simplify it. A budget is really just a plan for your future. It's understanding where your money's coming in and where it's going out. And so what we like to do, again, to simplify that, is to really use rules of thumb to categorize and put things into buckets. We use the 50-30-20 rule. We have a budgeting napkin in the book and on our website, where you categorize expenses as either crucial and necessary, essential, or for your financial goals, or flexible for things like vacations and gifts. And the key to it is again, to really have structure around your spending. It creates more accountability, and it also opens up opportunities and helps you plan for your future. So right now is a great time, again, to become empowered and educated, whether it's starting with budgeting or understanding your financial plan. There are great ways to get started, and even when there's a lot of uncertainty in the world.
Oh, and that makes sense too. And I think a lot of people have to understand too, the budgeting aspect too. And some people might have credit card debt. What are your thoughts on, like, how do I manage my credit card debt and still keep it under control? How do I improve my credit score? What are those key things
Yeah.
for them now too?
Yeah, so again, most Americans, over 40% of Americans, and a majority have some kind of debt that they're, getting crushed under. And so actually if consumer debt is now higher than it was even during the financial crisis
Wow.
10 years ago, which is very interesting. Again, the key is to have a plan. It's whether you tackle your higher balances first or lower balances, whether you need to consolidate. If you can consult a financial advisor, sometimes that's a great strategy to understand how to manage your debt and your finances. But the key is to have a plan around it.
Yeah, so you're saying, look, a lot of people have debt. Don't get overwhelmed by it, even if you got laid off. It's a matter truly of just going, what's my plan to get out of this? Maybe I'm paying a little bit less than I usually would pay, but consistently moving towards it, because you don't want to show up with late payments. You don't want to get your credit score affected in any way or impacted right now, to move forward. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Again, it's to have a plan, and it depends how much interest you're paying. There are different ways of paying off your debt, whether, again, you tackle the highest first or you do kind of the smaller, build momentum along the way. A lot of it is really having a plan in place and sticking to it for the longer term. And then again, your debt is tied to many other things: your credit, the rest of your financial plan, your savings, planning for retirement. We like to look at it as more of a holistic strategy versus just tackling your debt or just building your credit.
Gotcha. So you look at it like much higher level. You're trying to look down at it and understand it all. And I know from a budget perspective, the 50, 30, 20 you mentioned before. Do you want to break that down for the audience too, for people aren't even aware of this concept?
Yeah, so, and I'm happy we actually have a budgeting, very simple one-page budgeting uh, page that we can share with anyone who wants one. You can email tina@napkinfinance.com. But the key to the 50-30-20 is 50% of your income should be budgeted for essentials like rent, or food and your car payments, so on and so forth. 30% can go to flexible things like travel, gifts. If you want to plan for or buy, plan for a big purchase down the line, you can save for that. 20% are for your financial goals, things like paying off your debt, student loans, or planning for retirement. Once you have those buckets, and those are again flexible depending on what your short-term and longer-term goals are. Are you saving for a house? That changes where you would be putting your money and how much you would be putting aside. But again, even starting in your 20s, 30s, it's important to plan for retirement. Not only think about immediate needs and immediate kind of concerns like student loan debt.
Yeah, I mean, so to your point too with the retirement. So say someone just got laid off, they have a 401k. Really, like, don't touch that. Let that go. Like, steer
Yes.
clear, like last resort type options too, right?
Yeah, so ideally you don't want to take money out of your 401k. Although right now again, people have very, very pressing immediate concerns. If you are in a situation where you do need to tap into your 401k or retirement savings, there are actually ways to do that right now without the traditional penalty. So it may have to be an option, and if it is right now, then it should be, something as a way to access funds that are
That's really
necessary.
interesting. So you're saying that if you have a 401k or if any of these retirement savings, what traditionally where you get penalized for it, there's some opportunities now where you wouldn't?
Yes, where the penalties are waived due to the COVID kind of pandemic. In addition to the government providing different types of loans and emergency savings and helping small businesses, one of the ways that they're trying to, help people who are in difficult situation and have to tap into their retirement savings is that many of the penalties are waived. So it may not be the worst time and it may be a necessity, but it's definitely not the best strategy to have to tap into your retirement savings. So what we always, kind of suggest, and a great, one of the most important things anyone can do for their finances, and now more than ever, is have an emergency savings. So the rule of thumb for that is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And like any other savings goal, the key is to put it on autopilot. It's to set up an account, have it automatically send payments in monthly until you have 3 to 6 months of savings. Your emergency plan is the best way to kind of, plan for the unexpected, like what we have actually happening right now, where a lot of people don't have access to, their paycheck necessarily or other types of funding. And so an emergency plan is important not only in times of, financial need, but to have as a safety net. So you don't have to tap into your retirement savings.
No, that makes sense. I'm sure you're getting inundated right now. Like, are you guys working on, you have an incredible team in Napkin Finance. What are you guys seeing the most? What are the most questions you're consistently seeing daily?
Yeah, so one of the questions we get is, what should we do? There's so much uncertainty in the market.
Yeah.
And what we suggest is, first of all, definitely speak to a financial professional. The second is get educated, empower yourself. Again, most people never learn in school or from their parents, and knowledge is power. And which is one of the reasons we wrote the book, Napkin Finance, is to help people understand finances in a simple way. But the other aspect of kind of a strategy and action plan is to have a financial plan. And kind of to go back to our earlier conversation, a financial plan, some people find very overwhelming, but it's really key to kind of put in focus and crystallize where you stand financially, whether it's with your budget, your retirement savings. And actually right now is the perfect time, especially with what's going on with employment issues and a lot of unknown. So that's another aspect. And then always be aware of your credit. Many people don't think about their credit until they're ready to take out a loan or need to apply for a mortgage. But right now is a great time to start planning. And you can even start with very easy steps like checking your score, checking your credit history, checking for errors, very simple things. And then be more strategic about raising your score, maybe setting your payments up on autopilot, or paying more attention to a diversified credit mix. So those are all different ways. And then again, going back to the uncertainty in the market right now, and a lot of people don't know what's happening even in the next 3 to 6 months. The key is to understand your short and long-term goals. Ideally, you have an emergency savings that you can tap into if necessary. But otherwise, you can kind of plan for the future. And having a longer term perspective, even with so much volatility in the market. And the volatility is the prices bouncing around all over the place. It's important to understand that markets fluctuate, but over the long term, there is stability. Over a 20-year period, the S&P has rarely lost money. And so having a long-term perspective is also really important for people who are invested. And if you are invested in the market and people are curious what to do and what not to do, first of all, hopefully everyone is diversified, because again, that kind of is a cushion to helping you weather the storm. And by diversification, it can be across different asset classes, buying bonds, stocks, across geographies, across industries. But also some people think that they have to take action. And right now, the best thing to do is to take no action. Or some people think they need to time the market and their investments. But again, that's not necessarily the best strategy. Sometimes doing nothing is the best strategy. And then again, staying focused on your goals and getting help from financial professionals where necessary.
Yeah, so it sounds like too, I mean, whether you just got furloughed, laid off, whether you're taking a pay cut, or maybe you're making more money right now, it's a matter of really just kind of taking this moment to reset yourself and understand that financial literacy is crucial, just as crucial as
Yeah.
your nutritional literacy or any type of other literacy you may have, and really taking the time to understand that.
Yeah, I mean, finance and your money impacts every aspect of your life, whether it's your work, your health, your relationships. And again, it's a tool. So it opens up opportunities, whether you want to invest or open up a business or continue to build up your retirement savings. The beauty of, being organized around your finances and having a short-term plan and longer-term goals is that you can take advantage of these opportunities. And again, there's never a time where it's not a good time to start planning, and it's never too late to start investing and planning for retirement.
What do you think, like, like if I'm just brand new, I need to start budgeting. Most people are going to try to use like an app or a website, like the Mints of the world or these other ones. What do you recommend? Like, I mean, like, I guess should a person go to napkinfinance.com first, get like a general knowledge maybe, and then Like,
Yeah,
I guess
so
what you tell me, what
of
do you think?
course, of course. So we're offering our courses for free right now, to help people, and again, get empowered around their money and finance. So we have courses like Money 101, um, Investing 101, Credit 101 that are on napkinfinance.com. But
Right now,
again,
you said?
yeah, right now they're through May. They're free. And but the key is actually, to your earlier point, using technology, using these apps they're wonderful tools, whether it's you need a budget, or using Mint, or using Acorns. And we don't recommend any one app or
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
But the beauty of having technology is that can automate it and help it work in the background, which just simplifies it and makes it easier to manage when you're busy with other things in your life. It doesn't get left behind.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think that's key. I think it's a lot of people just want something simple, but now is the time for them to really rethink that too. And then being able, to your point, to see everything from above, to understand, look, I might not have too much money coming in at the moment, or none, or it's less or more, whatever it might be. And then I need to make sure I have this budget. I need to understand my debt ratio too, and how much debt I actually have, and how that's going to affect and impact my credit score too. Because the one thing we do know is this is, the COVID crisis, all this is going to end, and everything over time will flatten out, and we'll see this curve consistently go up, and everything's going to come back over time. But it's a matter of, can we use this time to get smarter and more literate about ourselves?
100%. And again, managing your money is an ongoing process. It changes whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. There are different things you can do to plan for a lifetime of financial well-being. And whether the markets are up or down, whether we're going through a pandemic, there are always things you can do to prepare for the future. And the markets do come back, and you don't want to miss the recovery. But it never hurts to be on top of your finances. And again, keeping it simple. Like, the goal is to automate everything and get help and get guidance, and then keep it, have your finances working for you in the background, so you can worry about the more important things in life, as we've all seen these days.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I guess the key thing too, as you mentioned, I don't want to forget, is setting up that emergency fund now. It might be small now, but consistently having that emergency fund, looking to have savings going forward, regarding how do I get a few months out of this, and then making sure you tap into financial experts about these different type of implications of tapping into your 401k or other retirement savings programs.
Exactly. I think, yes, it's critical for everyone to have an emergency fund, because again, you just never know what will happen, as we've all seen over the last few months. And again, an emergency fund, it's really the foundation for financial stability, because you don't want to tap into your credit cards or your retirement savings.
No, definitely. Well, I mean, we have some questions too from some of the
Sure.
viewers and stuff. And one of them was just someone laid off here. Um, how deep, I mean, is it wise for them to pull cash from their credit card account?
So again, we don't give any financial advice, because everyone's situation is so specific. So I would say, again, speak to a financial advisor about where to best access funds, whether it's, if you have a retirement savings account or your credit cards. Ideally, you would have an emergency fund. But again, each person's situation is different. And again, it depends. If you have, if someone is laid off, do you have unemployment? What sources of income do you have? What kinds of access to cash do you have, without kind of tapping into your retirement savings, which is always, should be last resort, or your credit cards.
No, that makes sense. And you're right. So I guess the key thing too, which is, with questions that are coming in too, it's not about specific financial advice. I guess even like when I look at this book, Napkin Finance, I'm glad, guys, I actually bought the book and bought the Kindle version, but you kind of go over everything, which is everything from cryptocurrency to building credit to stock market, to 401ks. I mean, I guess Napkin Finance is becoming almost a hub for individuals to get some type of financial literacy in an easy to digest way. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, and we're the beauty of what we do is we're purely educational. We're not beholden to a bank, so all of our content advocates for our readers. We're right now, again, we're offering all of our content for free at napkinfinance.com. We love hearing from people if there are any suggestions or any topics that you'd like us to cover, but we now have thousands of pieces of content to help educate around everything around money and finance, whether it's your taxes, whether you're a contractor or wondering about how to pay for your retirement or how to plan for your children's education. We really cover every aspect of money and finance and try to make it simple, fun, digestible, and easy to kind of empower yourself.
Oh, this is great. Well, I really appreciate your time because I know, um, the music industry and the industry as a whole, this one's been hit just like a lot of others, but pretty hard. And I think a lot of people this is a good time to take a time out or a forced time out and really get smarter about our monies and our finances as everything comes back.
Definitely. And it's such a pleasure to be here.
Thanks again, Tina, for everything. And then I'm going to tell everyone, make sure you go to napkinfinance.com through the end of May is what Tina is saying. Everything is going to be free, all of her incredible courses. And make sure you buy your book too. It's on Amazon, Napkin Finance, Tina Hay. Thanks again for everything, Tina.
Thank you all. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.